Okay, now Duwaji.
Thank you, Mr.
Duwaji.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr.
Duwaji,
Deputy
yes.
Chairman, for restoring order in the House, and we can resume the debate. Sir, last week the Home Ministry was being discussed, and the Department of Disaster Management is part of the management functions of the Home Ministry. But House was discussing the natural calamities, and I think there was a general consensus that most of the natural calamities are also man-made. They are not that natural if we had been a bit careful about our environment and many other factors, or our arrangements.
Okay.
But today I would like to focus attention on equally or possibly more serious situations which is on the agenda of the Home Ministry and ought to be serious agenda of the Home Ministry. That's about the internal situation and issues like internal security or our preparedness to fight terrorism. They are equally daunting challenges. The situation, internal security situation, as well as our preparation for fighting terrorism, both called for serious reconsideration and continued vigil and preparation to meet unforeseen challenges. So as we find over the years, terrorism has been really troubling us and retarding our progress, orderly progress. Terrorists have the weapon. Most serious weapon which terrorism has is surprise. Most of the attacks on terrorism we were found wanting because surprise we did not know. They strike at the places of their choosing. They strike at the time of their choosing, and often we don't know what has happened or what is going to happen. Let's say 2008. They came by rubber boats. Nobody could have thought they would have come by rubber boats to Badhwar Park and then fan out and create havoc. I don't want to go into the details of that, but as a nation, we were not prepared for it. The responses at that time were ad hoc. There's a Coast Guard failure, there's a local police failure. There is not even one beat constable at Badhwar Park who could have asked the people who are coming out of the rubber boat, where are you come from? What are you going to do there? That was a fisherman's village right close to, not very far from Kolaba, on main arterial road of Bombay. And then our response, the various agencies panicked. Local police, naval authorities, Coast Guard authorities, the central government, and the National Security Guard at that time. I'm just giving an example that we should not be prepared off guard. National Security Guard was to be flown in. The planes were in Chandigarh. The National Security Guard offices were in Manesar. The planes had to come, the people came from Manesar, and then they were flown. By the time we had lot of time, and we lost. They fought brave battles, no doubt about it, but there's a lack of coordination. And every day, there are 5 or 6 news briefing was given to the newsmen and the media, which again were creating confusion, and conflicting versions were given, and we lost over 160 people in the terrorism attack. Now, if I pick up other instances, everywhere surprise and lack of vigil have cost us during the last few years. Internal security situation continues to be very bad. I will particularly refer to what's happening in central India. They are questioning the very idea of the state and idea of India they have been questioning. They want to have state of their own. While China has given up Mao, the Maos in our country want to follow the Maoist philosophy and establish so-called liberated zones. We have not found over the years, as a nation, answer to that. Broadly, 2 strategies have been followed, and basically they are correct. The question is of implementation. One, the socio-economic development of the tribal area.
No, it's a good.
Other is the law and order approach, where the center and the states have got to cooperate. There is central government cannot fight, the state governments cannot fight either terrorism or the Maoist threat in central India. The tribal development has not been taking at a place where at the speed at which it should have taken place. On the contrary, alienation of the tribals is the root cause of the problem, which is becoming more serious by the day. And there is no real progress happening on that front. One reason is the law situation is bad, development authorities cannot work there, and no progress can be shown. There's another problem about tribal welfare. That each state where tribals are there, they are supposed to have state tribal council. And there has to be national tribal council also. That was decided in 2010, a prime minister should preside over the national tribal council. The state tribal councils have to be presided over by the governor under the constitution. Governor has been given the special authority in constitutional duty to preside over the state tribal councils every year and monitor what is being done on the ground for tribal welfare and tribal areas development. I'm sorry to report that over the years, all the governors have abdicated that authority and the state chief ministers have got that authority. And once you give it to the state chief minister, the function of presiding over the Tribal Development Council, A, it is against the Constitution, B, it gets subjected to various lobbies who have interested in the land and the development of tribal areas on different lines. The tribals have no say in the tribal development of the tribal areas because governors are given the authority, and I would suggest the Home Minister should particularly look into this fact that governors should be given under Section 5 of the Constitution the authority which is governors have to be given for tribal development area. On both Maoists, fighting Maoists as well as the terrorism, you need to have consultation, more intensive coordination and consultation between the center and the states. The central government wanted to set up National Center for Combating Terrorism, NCTC. The states refused to cooperate with that, and they invoked their rights that they are the authority for law and order. So law and order is certainly a state subject, but when terrorists strike any part of the country, it's no longer necessarily the state subject. No state can fight terrorism. Maharashtra, to expect Maharashtra to fight terrorist threat like in 2611, 2008, will, frankly speaking, it will be very inadequate response it would have been. The center has a primary duty, states also have a primary duty, and both have to function together. So a well-meaning suggestion was made to set up the National Center for Combating Terrorism. That center has still not come up, and nor a substitute body has been created because the states are obstructing. Will the Home Minister, and we would like to have a categorical answer, will the Home Minister call a meeting of the State Chief Minister on this question again and set up a central authority like NCTC? If you require modifications in that, by all means, it should be improved. If it required, there are some areas where states have to be accommodated. But there has to be cooperation between center, both on fighting the threat, the Maoist threat, as well as the terrorism threat and by setting up this center or a substitute body. Other bodies have been set. There is the national grid. I will take 4 or 5 minutes more.
2 more minutes.
Yeah, I'll try
Because
to
there
wind
is
up.
one more speaker.
I'll try to wind up.
That's the point.
I'll try to
I have
be
to be
brief.
fair to him also.
So there has to be steps taken by the Union Home Minister, maybe Chief Ministers had to be called here, more intensive consultation. The conflict between the rights of the state and the duties of the center has to be resolved to fight which is definitely national threats, both in the security as well as terrorist threat. Sir, one area which I would like to emphasize is the police reforms. The Dharamveera Commission was appointed way back in 1970. Report was submitted. It's one of the world's most exhaustive inquiry into police system of a large country. One of the most exhaustive police inquiry into a system, in the police system. I'm sorry to say, sir, 40 years, 45 years later, this report has not been implemented. There are so many committees, subcommittees appointed to examine the report of the Dharamveera Commission. The states are reluctant to implement the Dharamveera Commission report.
Okay.
Ultimately, I'll take more than 2 minutes, sir.
I am afraid there is another another speaker.
It's
That's
an important
a problem.
point, sir. Former BSF Chief Prakash Singh went to Supreme Court in PIL to demand the implementation. Supreme Court appointed Soli Sorabji Committee to why the states are reluctant to. They gave the recommendation. There are 2-3 points. I'll be very brief. 2-3 points. The matters are stuck, and some states are not implementing or refusing to implement. One is, how do they break the nexus between the local chief minister and the Director General of Police? The moment a new chief minister comes, he changes the Director General of Police. So there is no fixed tenure for the Director General of Police. The Director General of Police wants to oblige the new chief minister, and they would like to have the convenient police chief so that they do their bidding. So a fixed tenure for the Director General of Police was given. That is not being accepted. Who is to appoint the Director General of Police? A special establishment board was supposed to be set up. There are other instances also where police was being given some autonomy of action from the police, and to make the police in action. I won't have time. The point I'm making is, unless the home portfolio is handled well, its task will get more complicated. I don't envy the task. Now then there is a social cohesion which is needed, where the Home Ministry has to keep vigilant. Every communal right, every social tension will complicate his task further. And the idea of the independent India and its progress will be slowed down. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.